Hello everyone, this video's topic is order of operations. In every math expression, you usually have a bunch of operations you have to do to a bunch of numbers in order to get a result. For example, 6 of the operations you use the most are addition, represented by the plus sign, subtraction with the minus sign, multiplication with the cross, division with the division sign, exponent with the small number to the top right of a regular number, and then parentheses with 2 curls with an expression inside usually. So these 6 expressions are what we use the most. So what order of operations tells us is that we can't just go left to right in an expression and just do whatever comes first. We have to first search for a specific part of these operations and see which of them comes in the expression, and we have to do those first. Now there's a specific order we have to do these in, and that order is determined by this sentence below. So as we can see here, there is an order of which to do mathematical operations. The first thing you always have to look in an equation for is things in parentheses. So basically, if there's anything in a parentheses that you have to solve, you have to do that first no matter what. That's the first thing on the order of operations, which means when you have a math expression, you have to look for things in parentheses that aren't fully solved, and then solve those first. After that, then you move on to the second thing, which is exponents. After you've solved everything in a parentheses, or there are no parentheses, then you look for numbers which have exponents to them, and you solve those next, before you do anything else. After exponents, we have the third thing, which is multiplication and division. These two are on the same thing, which basically means that if you have an expression with only multiplication and division in it, then you can just look from left to right and solve whichever comes first, as these two are both number 3, which means they both come in basically the same place. But this also means that you have to do exponents and parentheses first before you do multiplication and division. Now number 4 is addition and subtraction. Basically, once all the ones above are done, you do these two. And these two, like multiplication and division, can be done basically in either order. You go left to right in the math expression, and you solve whichever comes first, as long as the above are done. So let's do some practice with these operations. Now for the first problem, we have 3 plus 2 times 2. Now this one is a little simple, but it'll help us demonstrate the order of operations. Now I have the order on the left, smaller, but it's still there. So as we can see, the first thing we have to look for is parentheses. Now there are no parentheses in this equation, number 1, so we don't have to worry about that. The second thing is exponents. As you can see, there are no exponents in number 1, so we don't have to worry about that either. Now the third thing is multiplication and division. As you can see above, there is a multiplication in this expression, specifically 2 times 2. This means we have to solve 2 times 2 first before we can do anything else. So let's do that. So now this expression will become 3 plus 2 times 2, which is 4. There are no more multiplications in this expression, so we can move on. The final thing in step 4 is addition, subtraction. As we can see, there is an addition in this expression, 3 plus 4. So we solve that. 3 plus 4 is 7. This gives us that the final answer to the expression above is 7. Now let's do another example using order of operations. In this example, we have 6 divided by 3 times 2. So let's again use PEMDAS to find order of operations. PEMDAS is just a neat little acronym in case anyone was wondering. It helps you remember the order of the operations. So let's look at it. The first thing in PEMDAS is parentheses. This tells you to look for any curves in the equation, and as we can see, there are no parentheses in this expression, so we can move on. Second is exponents, and there are no exponents, so we can move on. Third thing is multiplication and division. So as we can see, there is both a division sign and a multiplication sign. Now since both of these are on the same level of the order of operations, the third step, that means we can just look left to right in solving. We don't have to do either of them first, but we have to go left to right. So going left to right, and this tells us that we have to solve 6 times 3 first, then multiply the result by 2. So let's do that. 6 times divided by 3, turns out to be 2. And then that result is going to be multiplied by 2. Then we do 2 times 2, which is 4. And since there are no more operations to do, this is our final answer, 4. Now let's go to a third practice problem. Here we have 4 times in parentheses 6 minus 3. So let's look again at the order of operations to figure out what to do first. The first thing is parentheses, and as you can see above, there are parentheses in this expression. 6 minus 3. So that means we have to solve what's inside those parentheses first before we do anything else. So what we do is we rewrite this expression with the parentheses solved, or what's inside the parentheses being solved. So we will have 4 times, in parentheses, 6 minus 3, which is 3. So we have to solve that first, so we have 3. Next, now that there are no more parentheses, then we look at what's next in the order of operations, which is exponents. As you can see, there are no exponents in this expression, just a 4 times 3. So we can move on from exponents to multiplication and division. There is a multiplication sign left in this expression, 4 times 3. So we do the multiplication. 4 times 3, 12. Since there are no more operations left in this expression, the final answer is 12. Now for a final practice problem, let's look at the one above. This one is a little more complicated than the last one, but still should be fine as long as you follow order of operations. Here we have 3 plus 2 squared times 3 minus, in parentheses, 10 divided by 5. So let's look at order of operations to help make this expression make more sense. The first thing in order of operations is parentheses. As you can see above, we do have an expression in parentheses, 10 divided by 5. This means that we have to do that first, no matter what. So let's solve that. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And since there are no more parentheses in it, we can just keep the rest of the expression as is for now. Now that that is over, we move on to the next order in the order of operations. Number 2 is exponents. As you can see, there is an exponent still left in this expression, 2 squared. This means we have to solve 2 squared before we do anything else in the order of operations. So 2 squared is equal to 4. That means that we've now solved all the exponents and we can bring the rest of the expression as is. Now the next step in order of operations is multiplication and division. There is a multiplication sign still left in this expression, 4 times 3. This means that before we do anything else, we have to solve 4 times 3. Now we know that 4 times 3 is equal to 12. And now, thus, we can bring the rest of the expression down. Now, the only thing that's left is addition and subtraction, because there is nothing else left but a plus and a minus, so we can stay at step 4. Now, we can just go left to right, as both addition and subtraction are the fourth order of operation. So this gives us 15, 3 plus 12, minus 2. Finally, 15 minus 2 is 13. And this is the answer to our expression above. Thank you for listening and have a